Hello dear people, what is happening here actually is that we're doing a dry run with Bjorn for the internal team conference, and if you're watching this, meaning our dry run was okay and we published the video, so bear with us, we're doing it for the first time and we'll see how it goes. So Bjorn, let's maybe introduce ourselves like
Sure.
we would do at King for Market.
Yeah. So my name is Björn Ritzel, Britzel on the forums. You might have seen my name, forums and Slack. Hang around there a lot. I'm a developer at King, also product owner for the Defold backlog. Been working with Defold for, 4 years maybe, since King acquired it. We're going to show instant games today.
We're going to show instant games today, and I'm Oleg, the evangelist. I normally put myself as evangelist everywhere, just because I think that's fun. So good. Let's start doing the instant games demo. Like, the scope today is to build a game from the assets that we prepare, from the scripts that we prepared, and publish the demo on instant games. So that's what we're gonna do now.
So what's instant games, Oleg?
Instant games, basically, that's HTML5 app that runs within Facebook context.
Exactly. So facebook.com/instant games, you play them in your browser or in your mobile phone, either in a chat context together with a friend or group of friends, or on your own.
And it features some specific Facebook APIs that you have to implement. Some of them are optional, some of them are mandatory. We'll go through that later by example, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea is that we start with a normal game. So we'll build a normal game, a match 3 game. Seeing as we're from King, we like our match 3 games. So we'll create a simple match 3 game, then we'll add the instant games functionality on top and publish, so we can see it here on facebook.com/instant games. All right, so we need to start by creating a project, right? So I'm going to start Defold. So yeah, here we go, new project. We need to create a project. We're doing a mobile game. By selecting mobile game, I get the game set up in portrait mode, touch input is set up, and all of that stuff is fixed for us already. I'm going to give it the name.
And mobile, because, well, instant games, that's how people play them. They play them on mobile devices within the Messenger app. But they also can play the instant games from within, like, a desktop and the browser. But it makes sense to optimize for mobile, since that's probably 80% of your play is gonna happen anyway.
So we need to add some content. First of all, we're doing a match 3 game, so we're going to add a few dependencies. So we need a match 3 engine. Luckily, we have one in our asset portal.
It's published already, right?
Yes, it is.
It's so good. It's so good.
So I'm switching to the asset portal here, defold.com/community/assets. Here we go. Here we have a match 3 engine. Clicking on that.
In 3.
I'm copying the library URL, going back to Defold, adding it as a dependency like this. All right. That's it. I'm going to do fetch libraries to get my newly added dependency.
And it's in.
And it's in. So to the left here in the assets, I have a read-only folder containing the Lua modules I need to create a match 3 game. Let's just build and run and see what it is. It's basically empty right now, so we need to replace this with some actual game content. So let's pull in some content, right?
Let's pull in some content.
So switching to Finder, I'm going to grab some assets here, drag these into the project.
So what have you imported? You've imported some fonts, some images.
Yeah, a font, a bunch of images with a background, some candies. There's a particle effect as well.
Any animations, or are we creating some?
We need to create some, so let's create an atlas. We need we need our candies in an atlas so we can render them efficiently. Candy atlas. So we're using some candy assets here. Add images. Let's grab all of them. Plenty of candy here.
Okay, so all images just except for particles, right?
Yes, exactly. So all of the candies that we'll use, or at least we'll use some of them. Extruding borders so we don't get any texture bleeding, like this. Great. Okay, so let's start to replace the content that we have. We'll create a new folder called game.
That's what the game logic gonna reside.
Yeah, exactly. So the game logic will reside here. We'll create a collection. A collection is a group of game objects, a scene or something like that. We need to add a representation of our board or grid where we have our candies. We need a factory so that we can spawn candies.
That's pretty much a static pool that manages the game objects.
Yeah.
Right.
It needs a prototype, so we'll create that. It needs a game object. Let's call it candy.
And prototype is, I mean, like we said, that factory is a static pool of game objects. So prototype is basically the game object that is added to the static pool and managed, spawned, removed by the engine automatically. It's very convenient if you think about it.
And game objects by themselves only have a unique ID and a transform, so position, rotation, and a scale. So now we need to add some components. First of all, it needs to have some visual representation. So I'm using a sprite here. I'm picking the candy atlas.
Remember, atlas, that's where we put all our image files.
Yeah.
So in order to add an image file to a game object, the game object has to have the sprite, and then we point to the atlas, and then we pick an image from the atlas.
And that's it. I also need to add a script. The script will control some of the behavior, so it will change the visual representation based on the type of candy it is and the color it has. So basically just some bookkeeping to update the visuals. So I have this prepared so you don't have to look at all of my coding here.
You have good code though.
Yeah, I do, but it's boring to look at the developer working.
Maybe it's not, but maybe we'll do it next time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm adding the candy script here. I define two script properties, color and type, and then I have some functionality here to just update the visuals based on the script properties. I'm going to attach the script to the game object, add component file, candy, like that. All right. Now the candy is ready.
Yeah, so once again, what you've done is that you prepared a candy game object like an abstract thingy that can represent all the candies. Exactly. So all the candies in our scene gonna have the sprite and the script, and each candy gonna be controlled from that script attached to each candy.
Correct, correct. So now that we have the candy, we go to the factory, we specify the candy game object. There we go. Now we also need a script to control the actual game. So set up the game board, the grid size, and those sort of things, and then start the match 3 engine. So we need one more script. I'm going to call it game. Oops. New script. Game, like this.
Add some more awesome code.
Yeah, some more awesome code. And basically what we have here, we require the M3 match 3 engine. We also require 2 utility functions, color and type, or utility modules. I'm going to copy these as well because I didn't do it before. Color and type, dragging them into the project as well. There we go, putting them in the correct folder. Like that. I'm actually going to rename this to candy. All right, so we have a couple of lines of code here. The init function will create the board with a specific width and height and a block size. and it's going to be 6 candies wide and 9 candies high. The block size of a candy is 96 pixels. Then we have some functionality to handle a swap and make special candies based on which candies we swap places on. We have some special functionality to trigger effects when a block is removed and when a match is detected on the board, and a match is 3 or more candies in some vertical or horizontal arrangement. And that's basically it, and the function to create the blocks from the candy factory that we just created.
Okay, so that's the script that's gonna run when the game starts, set up the board, and pretty much operate the game later on.
Exactly, and then most of the heavy lifting is done within the Match 3 engine. But this is like the setup and doing the game-specific setup of a Match 3 game. You might want to have special effects when you do certain matches and so on. Or when certain things happen on the board, and this is where we set that up. We also set up the pass-on input to the engine so that we can detect swaps and so on.
Good.
Okay, we add that script as well. There we go. Now we just need to change from the previous Bootstrap collection where we just had the Defold logo and the background. So I'm going to game.project.
Yeah, we need to set up that the game starts from
the collection that I just created.
Correct.
And let's see if we've made any errors. It looks good. It's not positioned where we want it, so we probably need to move it a bit. We're going to move this a bit so we get it more centered. Almost. I don't have any.
Alright, we don't see it visually here because the candies are created dynamically in the script.
Yes, exactly. So we said that we want 6 candies wide and 9 candies high.
Yeah, then I guess we could do it from the script, like it grabs the resolution and centers themselves.
Yeah, it could.
Something.
It could. This is just a quick and dirty
way.
thing, so we can get started.
Yeah.
And there it is. So now we have a Match 3 game.
So it works already.
Yeah, it does. We have some errors in the background here because we're not setting a score and the number of moves, but I think we can manage without that for now.
For now.
Maybe add a nice background.
Yeah, cool. Background is cool.
Background is cool. All right, let's do that as well. So I'm adding just a new game object, adding a sprite. I already have an atlas containing a background image, so I'm just going to use that.
So why is the background on a separate atlas and not on the candy atlas?
It could be, but I'm thinking that it will most likely push us above the
2K by 2K limit.
Yeah, probably. So that's why it's there, and we might also want to reuse the background in multiple places. So in that case, it's in a separate atlas.
So that's a bit of natural optimization, pretty much.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Just gonna make sure it's in the background.
So let's build HTML5 now.
Yeah, sure. So let's give that a try instead. So I go to project, build HTML5.
And the question is why we're building HTML5? Well, the answer is because we can. Because cross-platform is natural in default game engine.
And here we have it running on
So
HTML5
fast.
instead. Yeah.
And also the touch works.
Yeah, the touch works.
On the device in HTML5. And that's because we use mobile template where the touch is implemented already.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. So that's it. We have a basic game. So now we should convert this game into an instant game.
So we pretty much need to add some Facebook APIs, I guess, because I mean we have HTML5 game already. It functions.
Yeah.
It's not interesting yet. That's up to you to make it interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. So we need some Facebook SDK specifically for instant games. The normal Facebook SDK is included in Defold, but the instant games SDK needs to be added together with some glue to connect the JavaScript with the Lua code. So I'm going back to our asset portal again. And here somewhere among our assets we have instant games. Shout if you see it.
So much cool extensions. So if you're not using that, you totally should. You just look what's there. It's all free. Most stuff is open source. You just look what's in if you need something for your game.
Yeah, and here we have instant games.
Basically extra platform like Steam or instant games. It's also available right here on the asset portal. So this is how you can add new functionality to Defold game engine.
So I added the dependency, doing the fetch libraries dance again. And here we go. Here I have instant games now, and this is a native extension, which means that when we build, we ship our extension code to our build server and get the custom engine back with all of the necessary functionality needed to add to use instant games. And now there's only a couple of minor steps that we need to go through. First of all, we need an index.html5 that includes the Facebook Instant Games SDK from Facebook servers. We have already a template here, index.html, so I'm just going to copy this into my project, going to game.project, scroll down to the HTML5 section and specify that I want to use that specific, let's see, here we go, HTML shell. I want to use the index.html like that. All right, first step. Next step is to actually use the SDK. So we need a new folder. I'm going to call this controller. So this will be my new main entry point into the game. Here I will set up instant games, and
like the Facebook part of it, not the game part.
Exactly, the Facebook part, yeah. And once that's set up, I will launch my game. So I have a controller here. I need a script as well to do the initialization stuff for me. And again,
I guess you have some code.
Yes, I have some code. Not very much code either. It's actually just a couple of lines to get instant games running.
Okay, get focus.
Yeah, so we start by getting input focus. Then we call FB instant initialize. This will initialize the SDK if it's not already initialized from the JavaScript and index.html5 side. Once that's done, we get the callback, and then we do start game. And once the SDK has given us the go-ahead, we can load our game. The game we've just created. And we load the game via what we call a collection proxy. So I'm going to start by adding the controller script. Then I'm adding a proxy, and this will be a reference to the game collection that we previously had as our main collection. So we have a small collection in the front that sets up instant games.
And launch the next collection that we previously had set up.
Exactly. And you could imagine that you probably want some kind of menu before you actually launch the game. So maybe show leaderboards, which is one of the supported features of instant games. You might want to be able to pick an opponent to play against, or a friend, rather.
So you do this in this collection controller.
Yeah,
collection.
So in this case, it's just like a very simple empty controller that sets up instant games, and as soon as we get the go-ahead, we load our game without any more fuss.
That's cool.
So we're switching here again. We're going from our game collection to the controller collection that I just created.
Yeah, so that's again the collection that the game starts with.
Yeah, and this should be it.
Let's try. Drum roll.
Yeah, we can just build and run here. It will obviously not be on the facebook.com, but it should at least start. And no, we get an error because I didn't name things properly. There we go. So game is back to normal. The controller has run through. I'm using just the mocked setup of instant games now, so we get initialize OK, start game OK, and then we launch the game just as before.
But if we're starting the game within the Facebook context, how comes you've just launched the game as a Mac app?
Yeah, right now we also provide like a mocked version of the instant games functionality, so it's easy to develop here on a Mac or a Windows machine or a Linux machine. Then Facebook also provides a way for you to test locally using a node server and then a proxy to Facebook. But what we really want is to upload this to Facebook and see it running on Facebook.com.
But with the mock thingy, that actually means that to make game fun, you don't need to launch it in the browser under the Facebook hood. You just launch it as a native app on your device and then iterate on the gameplay. But when you want to touch the Facebook specific things, you run it either under like the Facebook hood in the browser or within the server that Facebook provides.
Yes, correct. All right, so let's bundle this to an HTML5 application like this. Create bundle. And while it's bundling, we go here, we go to apps. I'm going to add a new application, Defold Instant Games Demo.
You're not a robot, are you?
No, but this was
That's tricky.
pretty hard. Is that
LX. Let's try LX.
LX? Okay, let's see.
No, we're robots.
NA. Really?
Okay,
Yay.
we're not a robot. We passed.
We're humans.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. This is the normal Facebook dashboard for developers, my app page here. So I need to do a couple of things now. First of all, I need to enable instant games. So we have this as an option here. I do setup. There we go. I need to add a short description. Default demo of instant games. I need to add a tagline. Default is cool. Long description. I actually need to fill this out, otherwise Facebook won't agree on the publishing. Okay, we switched here because the build is ready. We need to choose a subcategory. It's a puzzle game, maybe, like that.
But that's for people to decide.
Yeah, exactly. In our case, I think it might be categorized as a puzzle game.
Yeah.
I'm going to save here.
What can you make with Defold? Everything.
Okay, now that I have my build here, let's see where it ended up. What did we call it? Default Instant Games Demo. I need to zip this, compress it, and then it's up to me how I want to host this. I really recommend that you use Facebook provided web hosting. Super simple to get started with. I'm going to show you. I do web hosting. I need to upload a version. It asks for zip file.
Okay, it's 7 max.
Let's see, where do we have it? In here. Here's the zip file.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I haven't applied any texture compression or any engine stripping here, so this is larger than it really needs to be. So we could squeeze this down to, I'm guessing, below 2 megs.
Okay, so we're uploading the full engine binary that we don't necessarily need right now.
Yeah, I haven't stripped out anything. I could strip out physics, for instance, which we don't need in this game.
Textures
yeah. So it's uncompressed textures. There's
and it's still 7 max. I mean, we can make it smaller, but this is a demo. You see this is a demo.
For me, I think this is huge. It should be a lot smaller, obviously, and we have the tools to help you with that. But this is okay. It's in standby. I'm pushing this to production. Oh, need to enter password. Submit. Now we're in production. It's not live though. We haven't gone through app review, but for anyone that is a tester, it should now show up here. Somewhere. Probably at the bottom. That's usually where it ends up.
Maybe just scrolling.
Yeah. I'm guessing this is it.
Nice name.
Nice name. It was probably too long. Let's try and play. Yay!
Cool. And again, this is available on the mobile device, so we can instantly play it on the mobile device. But then
Yes.
you're playing it in the under the Facebook hood on your Mac, so it's quite convenient and easy to develop and easy to test. And again, we can launch it on the mobile device right now, I guess.
Yes, as a proof of concept, I'm going to run and fetch my phone.
Good.
All right, Messenger, Defold Instant Games demo, loading, uncompressed, and there we go.
It works. It does the touch work.
Yes, it does.
Cool.
All right. Oh, it's hard to play from this angle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It works. Good. So we have a game running under the Facebook hood in the browser. We can play it on your mobile device. What's next? What's missing?
Well, next step is to actually use all of the Facebook provided functionality. So we have like the leaderboards, monetization via ads or in-app purchases. There's all of the social hooks to utilize like a chatbot to pull players in, and also like doing the interaction when you have a two-player game, for instance, to swap turns and get like a notification in the messenger. But all of that is handled by the Facebook SDK, and the Facebook extension that we provide has all of the hooks that you need, and the Facebook documentation itself covers how to use it.
So default part is done, you've seen it, and what is left is the Facebook part and the creative part, and that is on you.
Exactly. Making the game fun, that's a big challenge. But
Time
we
for
have
a Q&A
skilled
session.
users. Yeah. All right.
If you're watching this video, meaning what we've done is good, or we think is good, do you think is good? Like this video, and depending on that, we'll see if we need to make more of that. And also there is a comment section, and this is also for you to express your opinion if we did well. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Thank you.